Welcome to the Explainer. So, have you ever heard the wild theory that the greatest war in human history didn't actually end? Yeah, we're talking about the epic Mahabharata War. Today, we're diving into this incredible ancient mystery that claims the Great War simply paused according to Bhavishya Malika, leaving the whole thing completely unfinished. Now, to understand why a war of this scale would just be left hanging, we've got to look back at the historic Battle of Kurukshetra. It was frankly a time of unimaginable tragedy. I mean, think of the heartbreaking entrapment of the young hero Abhimanyu in that inescapable Chakavua formation. But according to certain ancient texts, after all those massive, devastating losses, the war actually wasn't fought to its ultimate conclusion. Instead, it was just abruptly paused. The grand finale of this ultimate clash between good and evil was literally put on hold. So, you're probably wondering, where exactly are we getting the answers about this ancient pause? Well, it all comes down to a massive 600-year-old collection of texts written on palm leaves in the Odia language. It's called the Bhavishya Malika. And to put that in plain English, it translates beautifully to the garland of future prophecies. We aren't just talking about one book here. It's this mind-blowing library of around 318 individual works that supposedly predict the exact end of our current age. These sacred scriptures come straight out of the eastern Indian state of Odisha, and they were written by a very specific group known as the Panchasakha, which in plain English means the five friends. Now, these guys weren't just your everyday authors. They were highly revered great saints operating under direct divine instruction, basically acting as scribes for a higher power to record with absolute precision exactly what is about to happen to our world. So let's meet these incredible visionaries. The Panchasakha was made up of five great spiritual masters who lived back in the 16th century. We have Achyutananda Das, Yashodhanta Das, Shishu Anantadas, Balaramadas, and Jagannath Das. It was this exact tight-knit group of five friends who meticulously wrote out this sprawling 318 text collection, essentially preserving a stunning cosmic roadmap for all of humanity. And the texts don't mince words. The scripture explicitly states, Uthati Adesha Debeti Madhava. Translated, this just means Madhava will give the order, with Madhav being a sacred name for the divine. The Bhavishya Malika confidently lays out that the Mahabharata war was left with a leftover portion still to be completed and fulfilled in the Parashuram Kalki teaching recorded in the scripture. But here is the major twist. This fulfillment was strictly scheduled for Kali Yuga, that's our current era, which is often described as an age of deep moral decline and darkness. Okay, so if the war was merely paused so it could be completed right now, in our time, what about the warriors who actually fought it? Well, the Bhavishya Malika makes a stunning claim. It says the ancient warriors from the Mahabharata aren't gone forever. No, they have actually taken birth once again right here on Earth. They are walking among us in our modern era right now to finish exactly what they started all those millennia ago. And we aren't just guessing about who is coming back either. The prophecies are unbelievably specific about this. I'm going to cite a scripture right from this collection called the Kali Kalpa Gita. This text establishes strict, undeniable authority on exactly who has reincarnated for this impending conflict. It gives us an exclusive roster of the returned companions. Let's take a look at exactly who made this list. First up, we have the number 5, the mighty five Pandavas. The legendary brothers who led the forces of good in the original epic have returned. According to the text, they've taken birth once again to stand on the battlefield for the ultimate reestablishment of righteousness. Next, we have the number 12. The scripture explicitly names the 12 Gopals. These are the ancient, incredibly devoted cowherd friends of the Lord from his youth. The prophecies state that they too have been reborn into our current age to join this massive, final spiritual and physical confrontation. Then, things get even more precise with a highly specific figure, 256. The Bhavishya Malika identifies a strict, completely dedicated inner circle of 256 devoted companions. These specific souls have taken birth explicitly to support the divine mission and participate in this climactic battle at the very end of our age. And finally, wrapping up this exclusive roster, the prophecies reveal that the divine goddess Radha Rani herself has returned to Earth. According to the absolute strict parameters of this teaching, this is the definitive group. We've got the 5 Pandavas, the 12 Gopals, the 256 devotees, and Radha Rani. These are the only distinct figures cited for this return. No one else. They are here for the grand finale. Which brings us to the actual completion of the war itself, 18. The Bhavishya Malika asserts that the final, pending completion of this monumental conflict is going to last for exactly 18 days. And this isn't some random number, it perfectly finishes the exact timeline and scope that was first for. Thousands of years ago, it takes exactly 18 days to finally close a conflict that's been waiting in the wings across entire eras. To put this sweeping history into perspective, let's look at the timeline. We start way back in Dvapara Yuga. That's the ancient age of the world where the original Mahabharata war was first put on hold. Then we leap way forward to the 16th century, which is when our five friends, the Panchasakha, faithfully write down the Bhavishya Malika. And finally, that timeline points like a laser directly into our immediate future, landing right on the year 2032, marking the dawn of a completely new cosmic era. Yes, 2032. This is it, the absolute climax of the prophecy. The texts point to this exact period as the time when this epic 18-day conflict will finally resolve, completely purging the world of darkness. 2032 is cited as the great tipping point, this monumental shift where the old corrupted world just falls away and a brand new era for humanity officially kicks off. So what exactly is that new era? It's called Satya Yuga. Translating this into plain English, Satya Yuga means the era of truth. The texts say that once this 18-day work concludes, all the moral decline and darkness of our current Kali Yuga is going to be completely washed away. It gets replaced by Satya Yuga, a beautiful golden era of absolute truth, enduring peace, and global harmony. Now, I know what you might be thinking, but let's dive into what this means for us right now. Because honestly, this isn't meant to be scary at all. In fact, it is a deeply empowering and hopeful message. The Bhavishya Malika clearly outlines the path to divine protection. It promises that as the world goes through this intense transition and the war finally concludes, pure souls and devoted people are going to be kept perfectly safe. There is a specific spiritual shield available to anyone who seeks it out. The texts lay out three very specific protection practices to ensure your survival and spiritual shelter during this turbulent time. Trisandhya, Madhava Anam, and the Srimad Bhagavat. Let's break down exactly what these mean so you can actually apply them to your own life. First up, we have Trisandraya and Mavavanam. In plain English, Trisandraya simply means maintaining a dedicated routine of daily prayers, essentially taking time to connect with the divine morning, noon, and evening. And Madhavavanam, that means continuously chanting and keeping the divine's name right there in your heart and on your lips. It's all about maintaining this constant personal connection with a higher power as you go about your day. Then the third step is the Srimad Bhagavat. This is known as the ultimate holy scripture of pure devotion. The prophecy promises that by anchoring yourself in the teachings of the Srimad Bhagavat, really immersing yourself in its deep wisdom and its beautiful stories of divine love, devotees will face absolutely no sorrow, no trouble, and no tension. While the world undergoes its purification, you are promised complete protection. So, our ultimate takeaway here, which is firmly grounded in the surviving words of the Bhavishya Malika tradition, is this. This massive 600-year-old garland of prophecies, it's not some gloomy message of doom and despair. It's actually the exact opposite. It is a beautiful, ironclad promise of divine protection, true justice, and the ultimate, undeniable triumph of good over evil. The war finishes, but humanity wins. We've really covered a staggering journey in this explainer today. The ancient heroes are back, the epic 18-day finale is set in stone, and the golden Satya Yuga, the era of truth, is slated to arrive in 2032. The grand design of Sanatana Dharma, the eternal cosmic order, is unfolding right in front of us. So here is the final thought I want to leave you with today. The warriors have returned, and the era of truth is dawning. Will you be ready?